All right, we have a lot to unpack and discuss. So, pure speculation. Um, so, in case of emergencies, be sure to install your sweat buckets now in case of hype. Because this stuff is hype worthy. This stuff is hype worthy. This series franchise is hype worthy. And I will save the best for late in the video in case you wish to skip ahead, that's fine. Um, but we're just going to speculate the whole way through and then dish out how I think things may plan out or play out. And the best endgame finale speculation that I could come up with. Folks over a year ago wanted more Heaven's Feel content. Well, you've got it now. You've got plenty. Because we could talk about this stuff all day, but this is my last Heaven's Feel video that I intend to do before jumping into the first movie. That's my next target to react to. The first Heaven's Feel movie. Yeah. All right. So, and someone said Sakura best girl. That gets me hyped. So, obvious warnings for Fate Zero, UBW, Fates Denied, and possibly Heaven's Feel, just based on a bunch of speculation. I might have seen the tiniest spoileries here and there, but it wasn't on purpose. Silly YouTube popping them up in my recommendations. Ay. But we're not going to deal with those. We're just going to speculate. All right. Supposedly this route's going to be much darker, like the Fate Zero route. That is greatly appreciated. I think UBW was a little too bright. It was nice for something different, a little different that way, but I think Fate Zero has it over UBW. I could give an analysis, but I'll just on that alone, but I'll skip. So supposedly the time constraints aren't a problem either, but with it being darker, that's appreciated. I kind of wish it would have been 3 hour instead of 2 hour ones, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Supposedly, it can very well be fit within that time span. The route is just exaggerated, probably, in the sense of how long it if you did everything or took the longest time with the visual novel or something like that. It would be interesting to see the visual novel after seeing the anime movie trilogy. Anyhow, just speculation heaven. Heaven's hype, heaven's budget. Oh boy, are we gonna get Sakura Shirao versus kind of a Rin Shirao tag team? Are we going to see a bunch of conflict there? Possibly as well with Saber and Ilyasville von Einsburn. I still have my doubt of Fate Cleed being the best Fate. Oh my gosh. Maybe someday, but I doubt it. I doubt we'll react to it. Ay. Lollygeddon. I'm very curious with all this Sakura and Shirao stuff. All that kind of anticipation with her digging him, and he might not dig her. He might not dig her in this round. It makes you wonder, will he be forced at some point to choose between Sakura and Rin, for instance? or maybe Rin and Ilya, or any of them versus Saber even. It makes you really curious. And what kind of Sakura are we going to see? Are we going to see an actual innocent Sakura? Are we going to see a Sakura that just goes unhinged, enraged, angry, sad, depressed? Could she get possessed by Castor in a different version of the ritual from Fate Stay Night? And thus, that would make sense of the white dress, if it's not in a non-deceptive way in the artwork, of her being innocent despite all the carnage she causes in this route, and then having her alone standing with all the statues crumbled, long gone. That's the other thing. What would she wish for? The only thing we can fathom is for Shirao to dig her. That would make sense. But there's probably some cons if that happens. There's probably some cons because you can't force that kind of stuff. Jeez. And then let's just speculate here. Let's just speculate. What if, for instance, in terms of the wish, if towards the end, let's say Sakura and Shirao are kind of tag teaming, and what if at some point towards the end, Shirao dies off, or in the middle or to the end, somewhere near there, and that just has Sakura go berserk or something. That would be interesting to see. And if that's the case, she would wish for Shirao to be back, but more towards that near the end. That's going to tie into some very good speculation. So, very good finale idea, but I won't say it yet. I said part of it there, but not all of it. The implications. And just guessing to myself, I presume to know where movie 1 might end. Not sure about movie 2 or 3 at all. Maybe movie 1. For some reason, I just have a feeling that Castor might be pertinent to the end of movie 1, possibly even movie 2. So, all right, let me go over quickly, just briefly, what I jotted down for the UBW and Fate Stay Night routes, so that we kind of can have a little minor comparison here of just what I jotted down or could remember, whatever the case. Maybe I looked them all up. I don't know. All right, so UBW. With UBW, a little interesting thing is there was like the hand thing, but it wasn't from Shinji being a dirtbag and beating her. When I initially saw UBW, which is the first one I saw UBW because it was coming out at the time. Was it 2014, 2015, wasn't it? Season 1, Season 2, Part 1, Part 2. Then, after that, I had saw Fate Zero. So, and then probably Fate Stay Night after that. The end of episode 3, UBW, that's when it had me. I'm like, this is it. This is Hypeworthy. This is it. That's when you know you found a good series. Hypeworthy series. You gotta have sweat buckets installed. Whew. Alright, so in UBW, the first time seeing that, I thought Sakura was a master due to her hand. I thought that was so suspicious. I couldn't believe they didn't follow up on that. I couldn't believe that it was just Shinji beating her or something, or that it just got passed off as nothing. I couldn't believe that. But I think we had Archer versus Lancer, Lancer versus Saber, Saber versus Archer, Saber versus Berserker, Shiro versus Rider, Rider Imposter versus Saber, which was Caster, Rin versus Shiro, Saber versus Caster, Caster versus Archer, Assassin versus Saber, Archer versus Assassin, Berserker versus Blondie, Gil, Shiro versus Archer, Archer versus Blondie, Gil, and Blondie versus Shiro, Gil. I think that's what we had in there. Doesn't look like I said anything. No, I have Lancer in there. Yep. A Lancer. Dang it. That's the other thing. The dang trailer for movie 1. Analysis. It don't look good for Lancer. You've got to be kidding me. If poor Lancer, my goodness, does he get a good route or not? Anyhow, it looked like it could be something false, but it looked like Lancer's lance disintegrates. So aka they made it look like, at the very least, they made it look like he's going to die. Movie 1. That better not be the case, or Lancer fans are gonna rage. That is so unfair, but makes you curious about all that stuff. But all right, now Fate Stay Night, on the other hand. Rider versus Caster, Rider versus Saber, Shiro versus Shinji, Saber versus Rider, Archer versus Berserker, Shiro, Saber, Rin versus Berserker, Saber versus Kazuki, Shiro versus Kazuki, Assassin versus Saber, Shiro versus Kazuki, Rin versus Sakura, Gil versus Caster and Kazuki, Anamaka Tugi, Gil versus Saber, Gil versus Lancer, Gil versus Saber, Shiro versus Kirei. So that brings us, I probably missed some of the fights, that's all right, in there of what I just jotted down for comparison. We're moving along here. We could speculate forever, but Heaven's Feel. We can only know certain particulars about movie 1. Anything beyond that is just too unknown until we see movie 1. Then we might be able to speculate on movie 2. But we have all the dang servants. The credits showed a mysterious extra name, something like Ayaka or something. Very, very weird. I don't know what to think about that. I assume it's just a secondary character and it doesn't mean much. But on the other hand, who knows? They could pull out some sort of surprise. I don't know. But we have the Shinji's Gramps, the Zauken Zekken guy. I can never remember which one's his real name. And supposedly they all have the, from what people are saying, the route just unfolds different. Everybody got the same servant and master. But the question is, with Zauken as an extra, what is he going to be up to? Is he going to manage to get a servant later on? Steal him from someone? What about... so what's his role going to be with, perhaps, who knows? Who's he going to side with? What faction? Is he going to team up, or is he going to be rogue? What's his goal? What's his wish? Is he going to last through the first movie even? What about Rin and Archer? Is Archer going to still pursue the same thing from UBW? if so, I think that has a lot more room for conflict, considering I think Shirao is going to be allied with Sakura and not Rin, which puts Rin at a much, much greater risk. And I wouldn't fathom things look as good for her and Archer this time around. Just getting those vibes. Because if Shirao is tagging with Sakura, Rin has to go solo now. She don't have a tag team partner. So she's got a 50% better chance of losing the Grail War. So not good. Shinji, with Ryder, what's he going to be up to? What is he going to be up to? It seems like from the trailer he's up to no good as usual, and Shirao, the visuals looked just crazy good, but it seemed like Shinji was up to no good as usual, who knows what, and that Shirao tracked him down using Saber. That's what I think. And then they kind of have this, mild, playful battle, because Shinji just thinks it's a joke. He just thinks it's a joke. He thinks it's a joke. He's not taking it seriously. So what's going to happen there? What about Shirao and Saber this time? It looks like, from one of the artworks, that Shirao is going to be doing the sword type thing again. Looks like. And Saber. The mystery of Saber, we'll call it. I don't know what happens, but something big happens. I don't know what. And I don't know when. But the visual change in the artwork, the posters. What the heck? I don't get it. I just can't piece it together. I'm just left with crumbs until I see probably movie 2, let alone movie 1. Is Saber going to go rogue on Shirao? Is Saber going to dislike Ryder and Saber goes rogue on Shirao? Is that why the visuals are different with Saber? What about Caster and Kazuki or Suichirao? What about them? What are they going to be up to? I feel like they're gonna be up to similar as well. I think they're going to be prominent in the second movie. I have a feeling they're going to be prominent in the second. Possibly the second half of the first movie and maybe the first half of the last. I don't know. Should be interesting. Suichirao, man, he can bring it. Kazuki can bring it. So he's a huge threat, let alone Caster and Caster with Assassin. And what's the deal with Assassin? What was the deal with him in the trailer? In two different ways. Him and his different visual, different ability, and supposedly being the same, but and him duking it out with Lancer in the city. Why is that different? That indicates things within the first movie go very different already, and that leads to everything later going very different as well. Sakura. I think hopefully it's more depthy than what we assume it to be. There could be many different things with Sakura. Number one, her wish. We might not know her wish. We might not know it. The trailer teased one simple wish is granted. So someone does win, seemingly. They tease that someone actually does win the Grail War and does get one simple wish. That is such an unfair tease. That is such an unfair tease. You've got to be kidding me. So, the obvious. If she digs Shiro, is she going to wish for Shiro to dig him? And what is the implications there? Her winning the Grail War. The odds of winning a Grail War aren't the greatest. Boy, oh boy. And I just speculated that out of curiosity, based on the trailer, if there was an extra servant, an extra assassin that was summoned in the Grail War or something like that. But it apparently is not the case. It's the same one, just for whatever reason, different visuals. That's the other thing. So, Assassin and Saber having a different visual. Saber supposedly later, but Assassin from the get-go, seemingly. Very weird. I wonder why. Maybe they wanted it to be different than UBW with different visuals. I don't know. At the very least for Assassin, maybe. I don't know. It just reminds me of the Phase Zero Assassin. It really does. Maybe it's not the same. It looks similar. What about Ilya and Berserker? What are they going to be up to? Considering each movie spans about 5 episodes worth. Just rough estimate. That should mean if this route goes similar enough, there will be the Berserker versus Saber Archer again. The question is, if Shiro allies with Sakura early enough, that probably leaves Rin and Archer to duke it out alone versus Berserker, and that just ain't gonna work. Two of them wasn't even working, so Rin and Archer would be toast already at that point. So, man. So what on earth are their rules gonna be? Everybody's rules, pretty much. Switch Railcaster, Kyurei, what are you gonna be up to, bro? What are you gonna be up to, man? Probably up to no good. According to the artwork. Blondie as well, but Blondie seemed to be kind of rogue in UBW. They kind of just don't care what each other does. So, I guess he goes rogue again here in Heaven's Feel. Don't know. In terms of teams and factions, it's just impossible to predict. Just impossible. Absolutely impossible. All we know is, in the likelihood, Sakura, Shiro, Ryder, Saber. What if Saber and Ryder don't like each other or something stupid like that? What's going to happen? Are they going to have infighting, and is that going to weaken their team when they have to face enemies or something? Movie one. From the trailer, we know we get I think Archer versus Lancer again. Saber versus Lancer again. Saber versus Berserker. However, we don't know if there's the Archer component. So, I think that alone confirms that both Shiro and Rin are at least neutral up to that point. So it seems we're going to get up to episode 3 the same, perhaps, or 4, whatever, and then it might diverge from there. But probably sooner, because why on earth would we get Lancer versus Assassin? That's completely different. That is completely different. Why are they fighting in the city? By the way, I love how alive the city is. The visuals there. That is kind of what I wanted to see. What I actually wanted to see was them try and pull off 2 fights at once within the same scene. You know, kicking it up a notch. Emerald Lagasse. So, that's what I wanted to see. So it's kind of like the equivalent of that. So I'm very satisfied. Very satisfied with the visuals. The movie looks, the trailer looked darn good. So I'm really hoping that the movie brings the visuals, brings the eye candy, the budget, Ufotable. They know how to roll with this kind of stuff. So I kind of speculated that maybe we get the Shinji's Gramps versus Kyurei or something like that, since there was the Fate Zero kind of tease that they might face off again. So how would that go? Who would win? What kind of role is the Zalkin Zekin guy gonna have? What's Kyurei gonna be up to? What's Gil gonna be up to? I just don't know why we get Lancer versus Assassin in the city. Does Castor try and take advantage of Lancer having just fought Archer and Saber, and thus Assassin tries to finish him off on his way back to Kyurei? Is that it? It looks like Lancer does some awesome parkour through the city. Jeez. Talk about taking it to the extreme with parkour. But Saber versus Ryder. A welcome addition. A very welcome addition. I think it's just the obvious case. I think Shinji, as a known dirtbag, was probably up to no good. Why is he in a back alley in the dark? So Shirao probably used Saber and found him out. He found where he was, and he confronts him. And then Shinji has the servants fight. Saber has the kind of like rain jacket, yellow rain jacket on, like she's a darn boxer. It's so epic. Then it just comes off. But Shinji thinks it's just a complete joke. He doesn't think it's serious. He thinks it's a complete joke. He has them fight. Ay. Shinji. He is a character we love to dislike. We don't like the dirtbag characters. We get irritated and upset at the dirtbag characters. So hopefully he gets some justice. And then, as I said, Kirei versus Zhao Zekken guy, who knows? But one can hope for a rematch. Hopefully that kind of a thing parallels Kirei versus Kiritsugu. Hopefully they can create a parallel there. But could that fit within everything else that they have to dish out? Who knows? And I think for most of movie 1, we're going to get Castor, Suichirao, and Gilgamesh, Blondie. I think we're going to get them sidelined for movie 1. And then I think movie 2, it's going to revolve around Castor, Suichirao, and Blondie remains sidelined. We're probably going to get a lot of Rin, Shirao, and Sakura stuff within there as well. And then movie 3, I think, is going to be more pertinent with Blondie entering the scene, Gilgamesh. And it's just so impossible to predict. Are we going to... That's the other thing. UBW, we saw a sneak peek where very, very suspicious. Sakura and Blondie were talking, and it was like, oh my, what could this be? You know, I don't think I can remember what I originally thought, but I thought there was obviously some sort of tie or something huge going on there. I didn't know about this or that then. So I'm curious. Are we going to see a Sakura Gilgamesh alliance? That's another thing we might see. And Shirao would totally be against that. So, boy, oh boy, there's so many different ways this could play out. I could just come up with stuff endlessly. Is Saber gonna ally with Gilgamesh? That would be insane, but that would be pretty much giving up her wish, so it ain't gonna happen. The other question, UBW, we know why it was called UBW, having seen it, obviously. Why is this route, though, on the other hand, called Heaven's Feel? Heavens, atmosphere, space, and beyond. The heavens. Heavens feel. How are you supposed to feel the heavens? Heavens feel. What could that possibly mean? What on earth could that possibly mean? I'm completely lost. Heavens feel. I'll probably think of it the second I end the video, but typical. And the trailer delivering on the teasing like never before. A simple wish is granted. Teasing that someone wins the Grail? Who? And what is their wish? Although it could be a false tease. It could be within the route a wish is granted, but not from the Grail. Not from the Grail. And if a wish is granted from the Grail, we know how it has panned out before. It's never usually a good thing. So what happens? What happens? What happens? Oh, I think I was wrong on something before. It might have been the other video. Oh well. Who cares? It's a botch. Unless I botched this note. With the trailer, I do believe they teased the death of a servant within the first movie. It appeared to be. It might not be. There's always a loophole. I think I misspoke earlier or in a different video that it was Lancer. Considering he always gets the short end of the spear. Pun. But this was pertinent to Assassin. And the thing I didn't quite realize was in that scenery, the stone pathing makes me think it is indeed that Ryudo temple, which would lead me to believe all the more that he is, as people say, with Castor again. Another thing I speculated was there being, two assassins or not, and it's not the case apparently. So that would have been interesting. The other half of my speculation with that was it was Castor at some point posing as a second assassin with her own magic as kind of a clone. That would be viable. That would be viable. That would certainly be viable. Archer's ID. Is it going to be hidden this route? Is it going to be revealed again this route? I assume it's going to be kept wrapped up this route because this really needs to just let others shine. Brave shine. Da 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 da. And then Sakura in that trailer, glancing towards the city suddenly, very suddenly. See, that just indicates to me something. I don't know what, but it would certainly be a natural reaction. I pawned it off as one thing or another, but there was another option. Not only could she have sensed something big that happened, or seen something, a glance of something from within the city, the Grail War going on within the city apparently, but she could have also heard something big, like a boom, from within the city, and thus the natural response to glance over, widen the eyes. What's that? So I didn't think of that one. Then there's the very mysterious character in the credits. Ayako or something like that. What? What's that about? What on earth is that about? I assume it's just a secondary character, but they could be pulling something on us. I don't know. What's the deal with that? I don't know. It's possibly nothing. And then the secret image of the trailer is very weird. My guess right now is it's probably a screen cap of the visual novel to give like a nod to it or something. But then right before it or something, there's a quick flash of Shirao and it just gets all completely red. It's just a very, very weird stuff. And red and blood, and it seems symbolic of death. So, oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just all speculative. It's the fun of speculation, though. And then the Grail portal is in the artwork. I think even the movie 1 artwork. Isn't that a bit early? Or are they just teasing what comes later or the finale? How could it get summoned early? Is it pertinent to the Lesser and Greater Grail? All right, now I think I'm going to dish out some of the final stuff I have. I think I'm going to skip the finale guess that's pertinent to the wish, and then I'm going to come back to it. If I forget, I'm going to kick myself. But, all right. So considering people say it ramps up the further it gets, I'm going to guess the first movie, 1 of them gets eliminated. The second movie, 2 of them get eliminated. And then the third movie, 3 to 5 of them get eliminated, considering there's 8 due to Gilgamesh. We got so many things going on here. We got Shinji Rin, Kirei, Shirao, Ilya, the Zekken Zauken guy, Kuritsugu, possibly. I accidentally said that one, but I'm going to speculate on the basis that he will make a return in this. It's just for fun. I don't know anything like that at all. I'm just going to speculate for fun that let's say he didn't die in this route. So he's in it some way or some form. So each route and caster. So we got Rider, Archer, Lancer, Saber, Berserker, Caster, Assassin, Gilgamesh. And we'll say Lancer again because he probably needs it. So, all right. I'm going to give my guess to how most of the 3 movies might play out. Just a complete random as heck guess that I came up with recently. And then I will say kind of 4 main ideas for the one simple wish, which is like the best speculation ever. Very good speculation. Probably overhyping, but you know how it goes. All right. So, I think we got Shinji up to no good. He causes havoc, causes Shirao to track him down. Thus, we get Saber versus Rider, which obviously ends in a draw. We get Lancer versus Saber, that ends in a draw. We get Lancer versus Assassin, that ends in a draw. We get Archer versus Shinji. Archer versus Shinji. How would I come up with that? Oh boy, it's funny even to me. And Shinji gets taken out. Then I'll say Sakura recruits Rider, right? Because we need a way for that to happen. So I guess that was my method. Archer, for some reason. Boom, headshot. Monster kill. Oh. So yeah, Sakura recruits Rider, and then Caster summons the Lesser Grail, and then plans to use it to convert Berserker to her side, because she needs to deal with Berserker again. So I think that would be a solid movie 1. Solid movie 1. Movie 2 out of 3, it heats up. it heats up. And then after movie 3, guess we're gonna, for the most part, movie 3 I didn't finish. I have by default Sakura winning, but I don't know how that finale would go, how it would pan out from the point I leave it off, and what she wishes for. We can only guess the obvious, that she wishes for Shirao to like her or something. Second movie heats up. Caster converts Berserker, stacking the deck using the Lesser Grail. Caster then kills Ilya using Berserker, but slowly, being just a sadistic monster. Which is how I think UBW should have been, more so with how that panned out with Blondie. I think he should have done it much more sadistically and slowly and painfully. I think that he needed that. He needed that as the villain. He needed that. Caster then kidnaps Sakura to convert her with the ritual thing from Fate Stay Night. Rider, without Sakura, asks for help of Rin and Shirao, and they tag team rescue her, but they're paranoid about it being a trap by Rider and Caster, possibly Assassin. So we get Rider dealing with Assassin, Rider versus Assassin as a distraction, with Saber, Archer, infiltration to save Sakura. So we have to deal with Berserker. So Archer versus Berserker holds him off temporarily while he can. The others to deal with. Lancer slips by Assassin versus Rider and aids, being a good guy. Him being a good guy, he aids the rescue, holding off Soichiro. Oh boy, man, this is getting good. Getting all smiles already. This is just my speculation. This is probably nothing compared to the movie. We get Shiro and Rin versus Caster, and then it reaches a point where Shiro must choose which girl to save, and he initially chooses Rin because she's the one who more immediately needs him. And the flip side to that is the ritual thing is completed, and Sakura has now been converted by Caster and under her possession, let's say, as kind of a servant in a way, or something like that. So Sakura has kind of her own powers now, and that's where movie 2 ends. Holy smokes, that is pretty good stuff. Any route would be good, any route, anything anyone comes up with this stuff would be a good route. All right, so the third movie, and then I'm going to get to the 4 wishes. The 4 wishes, 4 wish ideas. Pretty dang epic, which will probably take us to about an hour. All right. Movie 3, the finale. We get Shiro versus Caster, which ends in a draw. Sakura, during that, kills off Rin. Dun, dun, dun. Assassin allows Rider through at this point. So we get Rider versus Saber. That ends in a draw. Did I put that in there or not? Where'd I? Hold up. Rider versus Saber in a draw. To heck with it. Let's keep going. I thought I put in there somewhere. Maybe it's still up ahead a bit, but I thought I put in there that Saber gets it too. Gets taken over. Who knows? Whatever. I must have removed it. Who knows? Yeah, I must have accidentally moved it. I don't know. Rider versus Saber, who got taken over. Ends in a draw, I guess. Caster converts Archer, who went rogue because Rin got killed off. So he has no no purpose there anymore, and he wants to side with the winning team again, UBW, and to kill off Shirao. So he's going with the best bet. And then, at this point, so at some point, before the Rider versus Saber, how did I remove it from the notes? After Berserker got taken, then Saber kind of is fighting it off. The same thing Berserker was, the Lesser Grail stuff. So it's kind of like in their own fight, but it's inevitable. So Saber got taken, Rider versus Saber. Caster converts Archer, went rogue. Gilgamesh versus Caster. Caster gets taken out, and that only frees up Berserker and Archer. So Ichirao flees, Berserker flees, and Berserker plots revenge because Ilya was toast. So Berserker plans to be Berserk. So Ichirao just, I guess, throws in the towel at this point. And he goes off to just live next to a waterfall or something. Nice and peaceful. Or to live a better life or something than his past. So good end for him, I guess. Sakura, Shirao, and Rider flee. Gil leaves satisfied, considering the most threatening servant to him is now toast, and that faction is broken up. So he feels safe now. All right, so because Caster dies off, I'm gonna go with Zalkin, the Zalkin Zakin guy. Shinji's Gramps recruits Assassin, and with Gilgamesh feeling safe, Zalkin has Assassin attack Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh gets killed off, actually. Crazy stuff. Then we get Berserker versus Assassin, and Assassin gets taken out. At this point, here's where we get the Kiritsugu return. He lived on in this route, let's say. We're just crazy speculation, just a bunch of nonsense. Berserker versus Lancer. Lancer dies, of course, because he needs to in every darn route. Poor Lancer. Kiritsugu recruits Berserker. The Grail portal opens. We get Kirei versus Kiritsugu 2.0. Berserker versus Shinji's Gramps, the Zalkin second guy. We get Saber versus Rider with Sakura and Shirao. Saber, though, without a master, weakens. And she's going to become easy pickings. And then it transforms into Kirei and Zalkin versus Berserker and Kiritsugu. And then we get Archer and Saber versus Shirao, Sakura, and Rider. Saber collapses. Shirao recruits Saber back. Archer flees. And Kirei recruits Archer. Goodness. So we get Kirei, Archer, Zalkin versus Sakura, Rider, Shirao, Saber, Kiritsugu, and Berserker. At some point during the chaos, Sakura and Rider go rogue, making it a 3v2v4 or whatever the case it is. I don't know at this point. As for the rest, panning out, I have no idea. No idea. I stopped there. I can't continue. Right. I can't continue guessing it. It's just a bunch of chaos. But I would like to see what Sakura wishes for. So I would have her win it somehow. So that's how I would put it. Pretty crazy. Pretty darn crazy. Now, for the 4 ideas. One simple wish is granted. So I did my route just for fun. Just something to come up with. Anybody could come up with that. It's just a bunch of fun. One simple wish is granted, though. I've got kind of four big hype-worthy ideas. They could even expand, I guess, the Fate series with this kind of stuff. As a side note, I'd love to for them to show off the former Grail Wars. As a side note, that is definitely territory they could cover. The former Grail Wars. So, one simple wish is granted. Such a tease. If there was ever a tease, it would be that. Alright. Hopefully, best speculation ever. Let's say that Shirao somehow pulls out the win. Despite everything that's thrown at him. All the pain, the torment, the Sakura going nuts and causing havoc throughout all the Grail War, whether she's in control or possessed or whatever the case. Let's say Shirao wins, but let's say it was just carnage, a bloodbath, extremely violent, extremely dark, and he's essentially the only one left standing in the whole thing. The whole darn Grail War. Nobody else escaped but him. Let's say that's the case. So, what would he be stuck with? He'd be stuck with just regret. Shirao would be full of regret. So let's say he regrets all the deaths, the whole Grail War. And he wishes to return to the start of the Grail War. Essentially, time travel. And essentially, this would kind of open up a whole new possibility for Heaven's Feel. You could have Heaven's Feel 2.0 or something along those lines. It would essentially be kind of time travel at that point. It would kind of feel like it parallels, you know, a Mirai Nikki of sorts or other things. But or if Sakura's the last one dying, and if Shirao dies off, she could wish to go back over her emotions and probably be brought to depression and maybe even insanity that Shirao died off. So she wishes to go back with her memories intact, but be able to do a second round of the Grail War, essentially. And then it could take a whole new route itself. It could play out different. So there is insane potential there. Insane potential. The Fate series has so much more to offer than it even is at. It has a lot of potential. The problem is more isn't always necessarily better, and it is best to leave it off at some point. You know, so second idea. One simple wish granted. Let's say Shirao wins it. He could wish to essentially to fix this timeline or whatever the case. He could wish to undo the, kind of going along the same lines but further back, or whatever the case. He could wish to undo the Fate Zero Grail War and kind of wish to enter it and be in the former Grail War to alter its events and thus the next Grail War alter it. That's an idea, because they could do similar to Fate Stay Night with its 3 routes. They could do that with Fate Zero. Ooh, there's potential there. They could do 2 more routes with Fate Zero. Interesting. Or, third idea, one simple wish granted. Or the cream of the crop. Shirao, if he wins, he could wish to go back to the first Grail War, or just prior to it, and he could try to make it so that it never, ever kickstarts to begin with, which would be even more interesting than just wishing that it never began. He could deliberately go back and interfere and make sure it never happens, but he'd kind of be forever separate from his own timeline and people that he cares about, so it would be kind of bittersweet of an ending, I guess. Or a fourth idea. One simple wish granted. Shirao could simply wish, if he wins, for the Grail War never to occur again, stopping the risk of it in the future. However, with such a wish like that, or anything else, what if the Grail goes rogue again? What if it goes rogue again? Obviously, Shirao would wish for something good if he got it, or him or others might even try and destroy it again, or something like that. What if a baddie wins it? I mean, they are absolutely doomed. So it's got to be one of the good guys, essentially. I think script-wise, plot-wise, writing-wise. Unlike Fate Zero. So I think it has to be Shirao, Rin, or Sakura. I think it has to be one of the 3. I think it has to be one of the 3 by default. Who knows? What if Sakura wins it? Is it going to be something? Is it going to be actually simple? Will she wish for Shirao to care for her forever, essentially, to dig her, to like her, to love her? Is it going to be that simple? Is it going to be that simple of a wish if she wins? I think we'll root for her. I think we'll honestly root for her. It depends how it unfolds. And it depends if she stays a good guy, good gal, or if she turns villainous. I mean, my goodness, I think we'd change our mind wanting her to win, but man, I don't know. It would be interesting to root for her. Let's root for her anyway. See what happens. Let's just see how it goes. So long as she's a face, a good guy, we'll root for her to win it, because it's really her route. So, should be interesting. And then what if it's just a red herring in the trailer? What if the wish has nothing to do with the Grail granting it? What if it's a red herring? What if the wish is just coincidence? What if what is the consequence of the Grail granting a new wish? And it sure seems like Gil is going to take some sort of active role, but who can deal with him? Who can deal with Gil? So yeah, that's it. That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. Just fun speculation before we jump into it. Another time, but now we're ready. We are ready as ever. Oh boy. My next target to react. The hype-worthy. Heaven's feel. Heaven's hype. Heaven's budget. Movie 1. I think it would be hard not to root for Sakura. Let's root for Sakura. Let's root for Sakura and see what happens. Who are you going to root for? Who are you going to root for? We got to root for Lancer as well. I root for both Sakura and Lancer this time, let's say. I root for them. Boy, oh boy. What's going to happen? We shall see. So now I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for movie 1 to react. I may take forever to dish it out, but it'll be nice to react to it. I'm prioritizing all the top stuff that I want to react to. Not going about my normal schedule with that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Don't know what's after that. We'll see. We'll see. The ReZero OVA is definitely on the list. The Steins Gate Zero OVA is going to be on my list, but they have to arrive, you know. Steins Gate Zero or ReZero double OVA. It was before. It's just not out. It's just not out and about. All right, so totally hyped, totally ready to jump in. I think we'll do it in 6 parts if all goes well. So that'll be very fun. Cannot wait. There was nothing like seeing UBW for the first time. Nothing like that. There was nothing like that. Goodness, the end of episode 3. Wow. Jeez. UBW and Fate Zero were different. I appreciated them in different ways. Fate Zero, that it was darker, probably a little too dark, but I appreciated that it was darker. UBW seemed to be a little too bright. Daylight. UBW probably had the better fights, the visuals. Phase Zero had a lot of passion in there, though. But UBW, I think, had the better fights. However, what I liked more with Phase Zero was the tactical aspect. Mid-battle, foes giving their plotting their tactics. That's something I appreciate as well. So I like them both in their different ways. They're different ways, more so. I wasn't going to dish that out earlier, but might as well here at the end. All right, let's get out of here. So, all right, next target. Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel. Movie 1, Presage Flower. We are ready. My body is ready. We are ready. Rooting for Sakura and Lancer. Sakura and Lancer to kick butt. Man, I hope the visuals are so good. So good. So good. So good. We'll see. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it's been interesting. I have nothing left to dish out. Except probably, maybe a post Heaven's Feel 1 discussion. Depending on how it unfolds and if enough happens in it. And enough different stuff happens in it. We'll see. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I will see you up ahead. As always, Take her cool and feel free to leave your comments down below. Sayonara. And Yosh. That we get to see Heaven's Feel Movie 1 next time. Exor. Let's go. Take her cool.